The MLB season's about to begin. I know we're all very excited for it. It begins on Thursday. Technically, it started in the Seoul series, but for most teams, Thursday afternoon is when the season begins, and I'm very excited for it. As an Orioles fan, it is a very exciting time. 3 p.m. Thursday. Corbin Burns on the hill. But I thought I'd give you my predictions going into the season just for each division, how offseason moves stack up, and where I think each team will land going into the season. I'll also throw in playoff, World Series picks, and award picks. But just a lot of excitement in the sports world this time of year. I mean, you got March Madness going on, you got MLB starting up, NBA and NHL are both approaching their playoffs. A lot is going on, but let's begin with these predictions. Starting in last place in the AL East, we got the Boston Red Sox. Now, their big offseason moves, Lucas Giolito, who's probably out for at least a little while. I'm not sure if it's the whole year. You have Tyler O'Neill and Vaughn Grissom. You got rid of Chris Sale for Vaughn Grissom, so interesting offseason. It's nothing to move the finger, and in the stacked AL East, they are definitely the worst team there. Moving on into fourth place, I have the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays got significantly worse. I don't think people realize this. They got significantly worse over the offseason. They lost Matt Chapman, Brandon Belt, Whit Merrifield. They lost Hyun-Jin Ryu and Jordan Hicks out of the bullpen. In replacement, they got Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Justin Turner, and Kevin Kiermaier. That is a significant downgrade in every position. Kiermaier is great defensively, but I think the Blue Jays are going to take a big step back this year. And in a competitive AL East, I think that lands them in fourth place and out of the playoffs. In third place, I actually have the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, a lot of people are down on the Rays this year after losing Wander Franco and Tyler Glasnow, who were their two best players, simply put. However, they did get back Ryan Pepio and Johnny DeLuca, who I feel are two very, very good prospects. The Rays always make things work. They got some nice bullpen pieces. They just called someone up. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but the Rays make things work, and I think they will make it work in a way where they won't be the dominant powerhouse they've been in past years, but they will still fight and claw their way to third place in the tough AL East. And then moving into second place, we have the New York Yankees. The elephant in the room is the Juan Soto trade. They got a lot better and a lot deeper just by adding not only a quality of bat that good, but a left-handed bat of that quality. They also added Alex Verdugo, another left-handed bat, as well as Marcus Stroman, and I guess Trent Grissom. I'm not really sure what their plan is for him. However, my problem with the Yankees and why I don't have them as high as first place like other people might, first of all, Orioles fan. Second of all, they traded a lot of their young pitchers. Michael King, Wendy Peralta, Luis Severino, and what was the one prospect's name that got traded to the Padres, and then he got traded in the Dylan Cease trade. I don't remember his name, but they lost a lot of their young pitching depth. And so the team in first place is the Baltimore Orioles, who added pitching, Corbin Burns. They do have a bit of a hole right now with Kyle Bradish and John Means both being out for the moment. However, that lineup is so deep. Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman. I mean, Santander is the most underrated hitter in the league. They got such a deep lineup. They got more coming up in Jackson Holiday. And the rotation, when healthy, is very good. The bullpen without Felix Bautista will be interesting. Craig Kimbrell will be locking down games. But I just feel this is going to be a very good season for the Baltimore Orioles. Moving into the AL Central, we have the White Sox, who are going to be very bad this season. You have Luis Robert. I don't really know who else, to be honest with you. That lineup is not good. The rotation is not good. They just got Dylan Cease out of there. Their opening day starter, I believe, is what's his name? Crochet. I think that's how you say it. And yeah, I'm just not high on the White Sox at all this year. I think 65 to 70 wins is their peak, and I just don't see them competing in what's a weak AL Central. Coming in fourth place, a team a lot of people are actually really high on coming into the season, the Detroit Tigers. Offseason moves, Kenta Maeda, Jack Flaherty, Shelby Miller, Andrew Chafin, and Mark Canha. So nothing to move the finger. Their season relies on a man named Javier Baez, and if you've seen his spring, it has not been very good. I am not high on the Tigers at all. I think they're a team everyone's getting kind of too in on. I think they're not going to have that good of a season, and they're going to finish in fourth place in a weak AL Central. In third place, I have the Cleveland Guardians. I think third is the perfect place, just sort of status quo. They did not do anything insane. They got Carlos Carrasco back, Austin Hedges, Scott Barlow. They lost Cal Quantrill, which is big. But they're kind of just in the middle. They have Jose Ramirez locked down. He's going to be fantastic. He's going to be in the MVP conversation. Their rotation is, well, pitching in general in Cleveland, it's always going to be quite good. But their lineup's not going to score enough to consistently win. That is why I believe Cleveland is the perfect status quo third place team in this division. A team I'm very high on going into the season, the Kansas City Royals. They had a great offseason. They signed a bunch of players. They have Hunter Renfroe, Adam Frazier, even on the pitching side, Seth Lugo, Michael Wacha, Will Smith. The Will Smith thing is that he wins the World Series every year. The Royals have him, so maybe that's it. They added a lot. They spent a lot of money, and with the young guys they have, they're locking down Bobby Witt. I think it's going to be a great season for the Royals. And then coming in at first place, I do have the Twins repeating as AL Central champs. I mean, they're just far and away the best team in this division. If Correa can turn it around, they have Pablo Lopez at the top of that rotation. They did lose Sonny Gray in the offseason, but you bring in Anthony DeSclafani, you bring in Carlos Santana. You got a pretty solid offense. You did lose Jorge Polanco, but still, I do believe the Twins are the team to watch out for in this division. AL West, last place. I must speak no more. I'm not going to say any. I'm not going to talk about them. Fourth place, we have the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They've only got Mike Trout. The big thing with the Angels, losing Shohei Ohtani in the offseason. I mean, they were a fourth place team with them, I'm pretty sure, last year. There's nothing to get excited about. They're just going to be the Angels. They're going to be lingering, little disappointing, little below 500. They're going to be in fourth place. These are the last two teams in this division, and it's not close. These are the last two teams. Now, coming in third place, this is going to be a controversial pick. I have the Texas Rangers. Now, the Rangers are coming off a World Series win. No one is disputing this. However, they lost the guy who started their first playoff game, and who was probably their best starter in Jordan Montgomery. Jacob deGrom and Scherzer are going to be there eventually, but they're still out. The lineup is going to score a lot of runs, and this third place is not a knock on the Rangers. I just think the depth's not quite there. Their run last year was very much reliant on getting hot at the right time, and I'm not putting all my eggs into the basket of, well, they won the World Series, they're going to be in first. I like them in third. That's how I feel going into the season. And in second place, this is where it gets interesting. I have the Seattle Mariners. Now, the Mariners added a lot in the offseason. They got Jorge Polanco. They got Mitch Haniger back. Luke Raley's a nice piece. Mitch Garver is a nice bat. And Luis Urias from the Brewers. It's a lot of bats. They did lose Teoscar Hernandez and the Jared Kelenic trade. But I really strongly believe in this offense. You got Julio Rodriguez, who I think is going to have a fantastic season, potentially MVP or in the MVP conversation. That rotation, I think, is one of the best in the league. And that's why I'm higher on the Mariners than the Rangers, just because they have a consistently good rotation, the bullpen's strong, and I feel like that lineup, while not better, is definitely younger and has a lot of upside going into the season. AL West champion, I do have the Houston Astros repeating for many years in a row. They added Josh Hader in the offseason, and they're coming off winning the division. They still have that consistent core of Bregman, Altuve, Alvarez, and Abreu still hanging around. They're going to be the class of the AL West again, and that's how I see the AL shaking out so far, or at least this is at the beginning of the season. This is how I see the AL shaking out. Now, moving to the National League side, in fifth place in the NL East, I do have the Washington Nationals. I don't really have too much to say on them. They are definitely the worst team in this division. Their big offseason moves, of course, Joey Gallo doesn't move me. They're going to be fifth place. They do have some exciting young pieces coming up, and I think in maybe a year or two, maybe they'll make a push. But right now, the Washington Nationals are definitely the worst team in the NL East. Fourth place, another unexciting team. You got the Miami Marlins, who added Tim Anderson. That's kind of their big move. They lost a lot of offense in Jorge Soler, so they're going to take a step back from their playoff run last year. I still think they're in my mind a very low floor team, but also a low ceiling team. So I think they'll win a baseline like 75 games, but they're not going on another playoff run. I see them in fourth place behind the New York Mets, who, I mean, they had a very bad 2023. they're going to be better than that. They have a lot better of a lineup than a lot of people think. Just Lindor and Alonso on its own is a very strong offense. And in the offseason, they added Luis Severino and Sean Manaea. Harrison Bader and Joey Wendell, too, are very nice bats to add to that lineup. The two arms in the rotation, I mean, they're going to need them without Verlander or Scherzer anymore. It's just going to be interesting to see how this team shakes out. I think they're a very interesting team going into the season, and I think next offseason they're going to be a team to watch because I think they're going to make some moves. In second place, I do have the Philadelphia Phillies. I mean, they're just, simply put, they're the second best team in this division. No huge offseason additions. They did lose Rhys Hoskins and Craig Kimbrell. Kimbrell, I'm sure Philly fans are fine to see go. But, I mean, Zach Wheeler locked down, Aaron Nola locked down. You got Trey Turner, Bryce Harper. You got Nick Castellanos still in that lineup. I don't really know what their plan is with him. But a very good offense, a very good top two in the rotation. An iffy bullpen at times, which is why they're behind the number one team in this division, the Atlanta Braves, who continue to get better. The Chris Sale trade is something that does scare me. I feel like he's going to have an electric season. They also got Jared Kelenic from the the Mariners. And overall, they're just the best team in this division with reigning MVP Ronald Acuna Jr. and one of the best pitchers in the league in Spencer Strider. They are just simply going to win this division. That's just how I see it. Now, the NL Central is one of the more interesting divisions in baseball, in my opinion. Hard to predict, but I do see in last place the St. Louis Cardinals repeating in last place. They did not get a whole lot better from what was a really bad 2023. They added Sonny Gray, they added Kyle Gibson, you added Lance Lynn. Sonny Gray's out to start the season. Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson, they're perfectly fine. Kyle Gibson holds a special place in my heart. They are not going to get a very bad Cardinals team to a very good Cardinals team. The offense is still the same. It's not changed. They've even lost Tyler O'Neill. So I just don't see how this Cardinals team's any better than last year. And last year they were pitiful. So I see them in last place again. In fourth place, I have the Pirates again. To me, the Pirates are just such an exciting team compared to the Cardinals. They got Rowdy Tellez, they got Aroldis Chapman, they locked down Mitch Keller. O'Neill Cruz looked amazing in spring training. I just like the Pirates a lot more than I like the Cardinals going into the year. This whole bottom's kind of a mosh pit too. I like the Cincinnati Reds at third place. Jeimer Candelario is a great bat to add. And aside from that, I mean, Frankie Montas in that rotation. They're kind of a similar team to last year where you're kind of relying on that young core to step it up and make that next step. But that young core is going to do that. And I do like them at third place with the upside of being a potential playoff team. Second place, a team a lot of people are giving up on. I like the Milwaukee Brewers. Freddie Peralta is a fantastic number one pitcher. They just called up Jackson Chourio. Christian Yelich is going to do his thing. And they still have the bats and a lineup that's deep enough to get into the playoffs. Do I think it's going to happen? You'll have to wait and see. But a lot of people, I think, are giving up on them after they traded away Corbin Burns. They got a fairly good return for him in Joey Ortiz and DL Hall. Other offseason additions, they got Rhys Hoskins, which is a nice signing, a nice bat to add, and Gary Sanchez behind William Contreras. So I like the Brewers lineup. I think it's going to still be really good even without Corbin Burns. However, in first place, I am going to go with the Chicago Cubs, who added Shoto Imamaga in their bullpen. Hector Neris is a great bullpen add. And then, of course, Cody Bellinger coming back, re-signing with them. They kind of choked at the end of last year, but going into this year, I do have the confidence in them to have a more complete season and win this division. I think they are easily the strongest team here. And then finally, the NL West. I mean, to get the suspense out of the way, the Rockies are in last. They're just boring. Chris Bryant's there. Nothing else to get excited about. I have no idea the direction of this franchise. But moving into fourth place, I have the San Diego Padres. Now, the Padres, to me, were not good last year, and they lost Juan Soto. Now, they did add some pitchers in Michael King and Johnny Brito. Is Brito the guy who got traded to the White Sox? I'm not sure. They might have lost him. But the point stands, I mean, they got worse offensively after a bad offensive season. The pitching, I don't trust Darvish or Musgrove at all. I really don't. And just the way I feel about it is they have not gotten better, while the teams they're competing with, and the Diamondbacks and the Giants and the Dodgers, all got significantly better. And I just think the Juan Soto trade kind of exemplifies that. Third place, I have the Diamondbacks from the World Series last year. They added a lot. Erod is a great pickup for them. They got some bats as well, right? Eugenio Suarez, and they got Jock Peterson. So, I mean, those are two really solid bats. You had to do a rotation that was good with Zach Gallen, with Erod, and I just think this is a very, very, very good team. Now, why do I have them behind my second place team, the San Francisco Giants? The Giants had a very good offseason as well. They added, let's count it, Blake Snell. They added Jorge Soler. They added Matt Chapman. 3 fantastic players. They added, Jung Ho Lee. They added Jung Ho Lee to their outfield. Jordan Hicks in their bullpen, and Robbie Ray. That is a haul in an offseason. That is a jump from last year they almost made the playoffs to I think they're the second best team in this division. Now, them and the Diamondbacks very easily could switch, but I do think those two teams are far and away better than the San Diego Padres will be in the season. First place, of course, you do have the Dodgers. I mean, what do I have to say? They added Shohei Ohtani. Yamamoto looks sketchy in spring training and in his first start. I do think he'll get it together. They're just the best team in this division, and I don't think it's particularly close. So that's how I see the NL shaping up. Finally, awards. This is where predictions can get fun. It's also where they get messy. But in the NL, MVP, I really like Mookie Betts this season. Ohtani did get added to the National League. However, I do believe since he's not pitching, he won't have an MVP caliber season, at least on par with someone with Mookie Betts' defense. He was in the running last year with Freeman and Olsen too. I believe the defensive value, of course, of him being now at shortstop is going to add a lot. I just like him a lot. He had a great game in the Seoul series. He's my MVP pick in the National League, one of the best hitters in the league. Cy Young, I like Blake Snell to repeat. In San Francisco, that's a pitcher's park. He's got some of the nastiest stuff in the league. The depth of San Francisco's pitching staff, I think, does help because there'll be less pressure on him too to perform at such a high level that he'll be himself. And I think he does repeat as the Cy Young winner in the National League. Rookie of the Year, I've got Jackson Chourio, the Milwaukee Brewers. Kind of a fun pick. He's debuting on the opening day roster, I believe. So, I mean, yeah, that's a fun pick. I don't really have much to back it up, but that's my pick. AL MVP, I got Julio Rodriguez of the Seattle Mariners. I told you in the Mariners section, I think he's going to have a great season. And I don't know, in that ballpark, in that lineup, I think he's got potential to be not only one of the best hitters in the league, but the best player in the American League this season. With Ohtani out, it kind of opens the door. So I'm giving a fun pick. Mike Trout's still there, but I'll go Julio Rodriguez. Cy Young, I like Corbin Burns of the Baltimore Orioles now. I mean, he's just one of the best in the league, entering a new ballpark that does favor pitchers now with the new left field wall. Give me Corbin Burns in the AL Cy Young. And Rookie of the Year, I like Wyatt Langford. He made the opening day roster. He's coming into a great lineup, so he's going to get pitched to. And, I mean, he just looks great. He just looks fantastic. He's a fun young kid. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the big leagues with a very good Rangers team that has a lot of potential to repeat. Now, finally, this is how I see the playoffs shaking out this year. So, as you can see, I have the seeding zone lined up. You have the Orioles as the 1 seed in the AL. You have the Astros as the 2. In the 3 spot, you have the Twins, who are the Central Division winners, so they get that 3 spot. And then in the wild cards are the Mariners at the 4, Yankees at 5, Rangers at 6. NL, you have the Braves as the 1 seed. You have the Dodgers as the 2. I do like the Braves over the Dodgers just in terms of their depth. I don't really love how the Dodgers rotation shakes out, but I do think they'll still be with that first round bye. Cubs get the 3. Wild cards, Philly at 4. Giants I got at 5, and then the Diamondbacks will be back in at the 6th spot. So Mariners, Yankees, I think this will be a great series. In Seattle, I do think the Mariners get it done. Setting up an Orioles-Mariners, another Orioles versus AL West team in the ALDS. Twins, Rangers, I will go with the defending champs. The Rangers in that matchup. That sets up a very fun ALDS. Phillies, Giants, I will go with the Phillies to set up a 3rd straight Phillies, Braves ALDS. And then Cubs, D-backs, I will go with the Diamondbacks. Doing it again, taking down the 3 seed, the NL Central winner on the road in a 3-game series. So that sets up our division series. I will go with the Orioles in the AL, taking down the Mariners, and I will go with the Rangers, taking down the Astros, setting up Orioles-Rangers in the ALCS. Braves, Phillies, I think the Braves get their number this time. I just think they're the better team. They've been the better team the past couple years, but I think this is they're finally going to get them. Dodgers, D-backs, Very tough. I think the Dodgers have to get over the hump. I just think they have to get over the hump. Diamondbacks are the fun pick, but they have to get over the hump this year. And then my World Series picks, I'm going to go with the Orioles, unsurprisingly, taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, Orioles, I know it's kind of a biased pick, but I think it's a realistic pick this season, just with everything going on. And the Dodgers, I mean, they're a clear and away favorite in the National League. I like them in the series over the Braves. I just like their bats, and I think Dave Roberts and that organization will find a way to trade for if they need more pitching, find a way to fill in the holes that they do have. However, I will go with the Orioles in the World Series. Now, it's a biased pick. I'll be the first to admit it, but I think it's a fun pick, and at the beginning of the season, why not have a little bit of fun? But I'm looking forward to it. I hope all of you are looking forward to it. Let me know what you think will happen. I mean, my opinion is not the be all end all. You can obviously have a debate in the in the comments if you want. But yeah, I mean, this is just what I think will happen. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So, I mean, enjoy the season, everyone.